Moving right along. So this week we've got one of my favorite case studies, a friend for life. And let's open it up. Let me blow it up so we could see it. So the short story on this is that we've got a small company, not a big company, a small company, and they've come up with what they believe is really a unique innovation, right? They've got a teddy bear, which isn't unique in and of itself, but there's some unique attributes, right? They've got this special fur, and they've got these recorded messages, etc. They say, "Hey, I've got this great idea," and what they do is they go through and they do market research, which you guys, just finished. And the way they did their market research is they created prototypes, which is what a lot of companies, if you have a physical product, what you're probably going to do is create a prototype of some sort. And you're going to go give it to customers and say, go play with it. Let me know what you think. And that's what they did here. They created 50 of these units. They gave them to little kids. Little kids went nuts and they loved it, right? It was like the number one toy. Kids at the daycare centers wanted to take it home. So as the company's perspective, they're like, wow, this is amazing, right? And then they create 1,000 of the units, sort of a special release to see how the market would respond to the product and the price, right? Well, they go out, and it turns out there's a problem. There's not a problem, excuse me. They sell out in a week, which means that, hey man, these people are like, oh my God, we've got a hit on our hands. So they're a small company, so they go out and they pre-sell the product, right? Nobody manufactures product in advance, and they pre-sell called 25,000 units, and they're like, yes, we've got a potential hit on our hands. Well, during the build process, they discovered somebody made a mistake, and now they've got a problem where the cost of the fur is going to be a heck of a lot more than they thought. As a matter of fact, if they sell the product with the original fur, they lose $2.75 per unit, right? It's not like they could sell more units and make it up. Every time they sell a bear, it's going to cost them $2.75. So somebody comes up with a cheaper alternative fur. And if they use the cheaper fur, they're going to make $5 a bear, right? So that's a pretty good rate of return. The problem is that when they originally sold the bear, this fur that they created was really, really durable, which is why little kids liked it, because they could, little kids are rough on toys. And they expected that this fur would last maybe as long as 7 years, which is unprecedented. One of my boys still has his teddy bear from when he was a little kid. He's like 23 now, and that thing has been beat to snot, right? Teddy bears are not necessarily built to be durable, but this one was really built to be durable. And as a result of that longevity, they created a slogan, a friend for life, which sounds brilliant, right? And parents are going to love that idea, right? Because we get tired of buying a toy and it falling apart, right away. The kid cries, and then mom's like, "I'll get you something else," blah blah blah, right? As parents, we know that vicious cycle. And so the company's got a dilemma. They've already pre-sold this thing with that vision, a friend for life, and they've already sold it to their distributors. Hey, look, there's a friend for life, great product, longevity, etc. So they get a dilemma. What do they do, right? Do they go to market with the product and lose $2.75 per unit? That works out to almost $68,000. It's a lot of money for a small company to lose. On the other hand, if they go with the cheap fur, now they're expecting this cheap fur to only last like 8 months. They're going to make $5 a bear. So what's the company going to do, right? What are the pros and cons of each of these things? Well, right out of the gate, one of the cons is super easy to understand. Is one of the cons is they're going to lose $2. They're going to lose $68,000. Man, nobody wants to lose money. One of the pros is that they go to cheap fur, they make money, right? So that's just sort of at a very high level, 30,000-foot view, looking down, going, well, one case I make money, the other case I lose money. But what's to be said in this sort of environment where companies, if they're not reputable, what happens? What happens? If you unleash a world of Karens on you, right? They're a small company. They're not a big company. Can they really afford to take the risk of delivering a product to market where it doesn't perform? Or as one argument's been made hundreds of times is, look, kids forget. They're going to go play with it and they're going to go stick it in the toy box, right? They're not going to go play with it steady for 8 months. Therefore, nobody's really going to feel the impact of the fact that we're using this cheaper fur. So you've got a bunch of different ways of looking at this, and this is just not an easy case. For some people, it's super easy. Right? I don't exist to lose money, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. If there's backlash, then there's backlash, and if people want to return it, then I'll accept returns. Whatever, right? Deal with the consequences. And the other hand, people are like, I am not going to go to market with a product that now it's going to fall apart. And so, what do you think? So get your comments in. Uh, get your comments in by Friday. Uh, and then make sure you read everybody else's comments and comment on 4 classmate posts by Sunday. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did somebody make an argument? Did they change your mind? Right? That's what these case studies are supposed to do. These are real world things, and I can tell you right now, personal experience. I have had an exact situation like this come up. The last startup we tried to do that, it failed. Ultimately, it failed because we underestimated the cost of manufacturing the product, or we underestimated the design, the complexity of the design, and then it turned out that we had done market research selling the product, for $15, and there's no way we're going to be able to manufacture it and make a profit at $15. And so we just said, can we raise the price to $30? And at that point, it was like you can't, because law, supply, and demand sort of kicks in, right? These basic rules, the basic rule of economics. At $15, there might be X demand, but at $30, there's Y demand. And if there's Y demand, then you've got a problem because you don't expect to sell to 100% of the customers. And if we could only sell to 2% of the customers and demand was X or 500,000, for example, and we thought we could go get 2% of the demand, great. But if demand was now 100,000 and we can only get 2%, we don't make any money. And so we ended up just saying, no, we're not going to go do this. And it was kind of a bummer, but that's just the life of an entrepreneur. And so that is a very similar scenario here. So enjoy it, allow it to challenge you, allow it to pull you in different directions, and allow it to feel like this is hard, because it should be. Thanks, everybody. Peace.